Good morning and welcome to today's worship service. We are grateful that you are here with us today. My name is Catherine Severson and I am the service coordinator for today here at All Souls Church. Our mission is to seek truth, practice love, and celebrate life. For today's words of welcome, I chose to borrow the welcome statement from a prior congregation of mine, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Westchester in Pennsylvania. It goes, Unitarian Universalism holds that great good comes from wide diversity. So whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your heritage, and from wherever your beliefs spring, we are pleased that you are here. Let us walk a while together. And now for a few announcements. I call your attention to the notice of next Sunday's program at the bottom of your order of service, and urge you to continue to read our weekly email blasts for the dates and details of additional upcoming events and opportunities. If you are not receiving our weekly emails, please sign up for them on the clipboard in the foyer before leaving. And we invite you to stay for conversation, coffee, and a circle discussion after today's service. There was another announcement somewhere that if you're, oh, okay, never mind. Does anybody else have any announcements today?
Good morning, folks. My name's Eric, and I'm a member here at All Souls. If you look in your order of service, there will be a little sheet of paper on Sunday, January the 14th, or Tuesday evening, the 16th at 7 o'clock, there will be a short introductory session, lesson, whatever, on UU history, and also what it takes or what it means to become a member of All Souls Church. So if you're interested in Unitarian Universalism or interested in becoming a member of the church, please fill out the form, and you can either contact us, or you can just leave it in the collection plate when it goes around. Thank you. Thank you.
Another announcement?
Yeah, of course.
Another announcement for this coming 7th of January. By the way, Happy New Year, everybody. So I'm Allan, the minister. So next Sunday, we traditionally remember people who have died in the past year. And that can be something more personal or something more broad. And so if there's someone that you feel like needs to be remembered in front of us, please contact me or Joy Hemble, and we'll find a way to include you. So it can be, like I say, somebody famous from around the world, or somebody local here in Sioux Falls, or a personal person in your life. So we want a meaningful time together. It's been meaningful in the past, and we feel like that's a great way to start the new year. So please don't be shy and tell us who you want to remember. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sandrine. I'm a member here. Talking about celebrating the new year, tomorrow here from 5 to 7:30, there is an opportunity for you to dance and move your body. Also, it has been a very safe place for hosting Women's Circle here, but we would like to start a new tradition of ecstatic dance here. It's for those who are not familiar with ecstatic dance, it's I think it's a misleading term because it's simply dancing from whatever you feel inside you. It's not a performance. You just any type of body is welcome, and it's just a way of expressing yourself that can be fun and playful. So tomorrow is the kickoff of this new event, and it's going to be here from 5 to 7:30. From 5 to 6 going to be social time and connection and explanation of what ecstatic dance is, and then and there will be some food as well. And from 6 to 7:30, we will come back here and move together. So, yeah.
Anyone else? Go ahead. Oh. Okay. Our chalice lighting reading is in the Gray Hymnal, number 444. I'll read the Roman text, and you can read the italics. This house is for the ingathering of nature and human nature. It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person. It is a house of truth-seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers. It is a house of prophecy, outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and progress. Okay, our first song is number 57. Please rise if you are able. Okay. Our first reading is number 543. And I will read again the Roman text, and you can read the italics. Winter. Let us not wish away the winter. It is a season to itself, not simply the way to spring. The clarity and brilliance of the winter sky delight. The loom of fog softens edges, lulls the eyes and ears of the quiet, awakens by risk the unquiet. A low, dark sky can snow, emblem of individuality, liberality, and aggregate power. Snow invites to contemplation and to sport. Winter dark tends to warm light, fire and candle, winter cold to hugs and huddles, winter want to gifts and sharing, winter danger to visions, plans, and common endeavoring, and the zest of narrow escapes, winter tedium to merrymaking. Okay. Now it's time for the story of all ages, so any children who want can come join me up front. The children out. In this congregation, we've found it helpful to share the ups and downs of our lives by the practice of taking a stone from a bowl, holding it in our hand, warming it, and expressing our thoughts of joy and/or concern, and then placing the stone in water so that the ripples of the water carry our joys and concerns out into the wider world. I'll go first. Okay. This week we celebrated Christmas in our family, and I usually find it to be more stressful and sad than anything else. But we had some family in town, including my 4-year-old niece, and both she and my 5-year-old son are only children, and they were really good playmates, so just being with their exuberance and laughter was pure joy. Not too much, no. Now I welcome anybody else to come up with their joy or concern. And you can also start to form a line if there are several.
When my husband and I were first married, we decided to get married towards the end of the year so that we could start the new year fresh, forget all the arguments and whatever. And so we did that. And so we are celebrating our 58th wedding anniversary today.
I'm Jennifer Havlick. I have one joy, actually two joys. It is still alive, and I actually fulfilled all 3 of my New Year's resolutions this year.
My name is Joy Hembel. I'm usually here with my husband, Paul Thompson, but he's staying at home this morning with his mother, Dorcas Thompson, who is not doing well. She's 96. She would be 97 if she makes it to February 25th. And I'm afraid she's probably in her last few weeks of life. So I'm concerned about her, but I know that she's had a good life.
Edie Ann Hafke, and I have a prayer and a thought for somebody that I know just recently went to the hospital, and like to be thinking about her and all that good stuff. I don't know who she is, but that's okay. I'll probably hear about it through a grapevine. I'm thankful to be here as well as still having my wife Jennifer in my life, and I'm thankful to be here among y'all. So, Happy New Year.
I've had the joy this week of helping my mother-in-law move down the hall in our assisted living facility. They only had a single room available when she first came there, and she filled it up with all kinds of stuff. Now she's going to have a roommate, and the room's not that. She has a lot less space, so it's been a challenge, but it's been fun working with her.
I can't see all of you because of my vision, but my name's Fred, And I want to say something about some of the women in my family, things that happened recently. One granddaughter was just admitted to the USD law school. She's quite brilliant. Another younger granddaughter has just got some award from some human rights organization for some essay she wrote a few weeks ago and was recognized. And the third is my daughter, who I'm extremely proud of. She's disabled and has come a long way since that. And among the things she does is she's a online tester of games. And she just defended herself rather aggressively against some anti-Semitic comments that were made by the diversity director of the place she worked, which I thought was quite ironic. Anyway, I'm proud of these young women.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Scott. I just got a little concerned. Last summer I was out of work for about 4 months because my face was flashing with spasms. And then it calmed down naturally, didn't know what caused it. But this particular week it's starting to flash up again. I actually had to miss a half a day at work. So I'm hoping we can figure this out this time.
And I'll put in one more stone for our joys and concerns that have gone unspoken. Now we'll have our moment of silence. Please let us pause for a moment of silent reflection as we consider what we have just heard, what is on our own hearts and minds. We could also reflect on our second UU principle, which is found at the top of the order of service, or you could pay attention to your breathing. Our second reading is number 544 in the Gray Hymnal. I'll start and you can follow with the italics. New Year's Day. The 1st of January is another day dawning, the sun rising as the sun always rises, the earth moving in its rhythms. So it is. Everything is the same, bound into its history as we ourselves are bound. What shall we do with this great gift of time this year? We are the hearts and minds, the hands and feet, the embodiment of all the best visions of our people. Let us take the step forward together onto new ground. And that was by Kathleen McTeague.
The message I have today is a first-person narrative. Is that the right way to put it? Anyway, I'm going to speak as though I'm Mr. Rogers, but first I want to introduce him, and then we'll sing the song. So, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was the longest-running children's TV program from 1968 until 2001. They made nearly 900 original episodes, and I think one of the most remarkable details is that he sang the opening song new every time, which most TV shows, have it recorded once and they play it over and over. He sang it new. Music was one of his first loves, actually, and he was a very accomplished pianist, much more so than myself. When he retired in 2001, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President George W. Bush in 2002. Later that year, Fred Rogers was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and he died in February of 2003, so it's just about 20 years ago, at the young age of 74. Earlier in his life, he had actually planned to go into ministry, but when he was in college and thinking about his future, it was when TV was new, and he was fascinated by it, and he decided that he wanted to start out in TV and never left it, although he did at one point take seminary classes and I believe got a degree, but I don't think he was ever ordained, and I think it was with the Presbyterian Seminary. So after the program officially ended in 2001, public TV played reruns until 2008, and then in 2012, an animated program called Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood came out, and one of my daughters who does daycare said that it's a very popular show among kids today. It contains lessons and values of the original neighborhood program, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. In 2018, which was the 50th anniversary of the beginning, a documentary called Won't You Be My Neighbor was produced, and later that year, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood starring Tom Hanks came out, and some of you may have seen that. So the only other opening that I want to share is I'm going to take some poetic liberty, maybe it's pulpit liberty, and transition to the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. That wasn't part of Fred Rogers' writing, but I feel like it's very consistent with his overall philosophy and also with our third principle. And so that'll be the conclusion of today's message. So if you'll look at the sheet which has the words on it, the insert, and Carol will play us a couple of bars and we'll sing together, Won't You Be My Neighbor? I was named after my maternal grandfather, Fred Brooks McFeely. As a boy, I loved visiting my grandparents' farm on the weekends. When I was at home, my mother often made me stay inside and sit quietly. But on the farm, there were lots of room to run around and explore. I always wanted to climb on the stone fences, but they were old and some of the stones were loose and falling, so I asked my mother if I could go climbing, and of course she said no. But then my grandfather spoke up. "Let the boy climb the stone walls. He has to learn to do things for himself." I was thrilled that my grandfather trusted me, and I spent a couple of hours climbing those walls. Afterwards, Grandpa said, "Freddie, you made the day special by just being yourself." I never forgot those words. They inspired me to be more confident in myself. 1968, the first year of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, was not an easy time for children in this country. There was a war going on in Vietnam, and I talked to the children about the war. Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated in April, and Senator Robert Kennedy in June. I worried about how children would handle this kind of news that they were hearing, and so I stayed up all night to tape a special show. I had Lady Alberlin talk with a puppet, Daniel Striped Tiger, to explain what happened to Robert Kennedy in the most gentle way that I could. At the end of the show, I looked at the camera and spoke directly to the parents. "I plead for your protection and support of your young children. There is only so much that a very young child can take." The next year, I was asked to testify to a Senate committee in favor of funding for public TV because the fiscal conservatives were trying to cut the funding in half. I was worried about violence on TV. I explained how I used my program to help children talk about their feelings. If we in public TV can show that feelings are mentionable and manageable, we have done a great service. At that point, Senator John Pastore responded, "I'm supposed to be a pretty tough guy, and this is the first time I've had goosebumps in these 3 days of hearings. It looks like you'll get your $20 million. Once I buttoned up my sweater wrong, and I redid it on camera because I wanted to show the children that mistakes are a part of life. We don't have to do anything special just to be special. Just be yourself. Some people are surprised that I am the same person off camera as on, but I believe that one of the greatest gifts you can give anybody is the gift of your honest self. We all need to find something we feel good about doing, and then do it. Here are a few other things that I try to impress upon the children. There's only one you in this world. You are special. You can make up your own stories. I bet you have lots of stories. Some are true, and some make-believe. And it's important to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's pretend. That's why we had the picture frame and a special music when we went into the land of make-believe. There's so much in this world that we can learn, no matter how young or old we are. And if we can only be brave enough to talk about things, it's going to be okay. When I was given a Daytime Emmy Award in 1997, I didn't make the usual speech. I asked the audience this question: when you were a child, who made you feel special? Let's take a few seconds of silence to remember those people, and I will watch the time. And this room filled with people was perfectly quiet for the next 10 seconds. And now I would like us to do that right here, right now. When you were a child, who made you feel special? Let's take a few seconds of silence to remember those people. I will watch the time. There is so much in this world that we can learn, no matter how young or how old we are. One thing that we can also learn is how to love one another. Gary Chapman has written a book called The 5 Love Languages. It's become quite popular, I've noticed, especially among millennials. People will talk about what their love language is as easily as talking about their horoscopes. So, the first love language is helping. Helping others is sometimes called acts of service. It's a good feeling to help someone, isn't it? Can I tell you a story about myself? I was shy when I was a child. I didn't like to go up to somebody and talk to them. But one day my teacher asked me to visit my classmate named Jim, who was in the hospital, and bring him some schoolwork. So I did. And Jim was really friendly, and he thanked me. Jim and I remained friends even after he got out of the hospital, and I found out how good it feels to help somebody else. One time I became really sad when there was a story on the news about something bad that had happened, and my mother told me, "Fred, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." And that makes sad news a little less sad. The second love language is time together. Do you like to be alone? A lot of people don't like to be alone. We humans are social beings. We are made to be with others. We need our family. We need our friends. We need our neighbors. We need lots of people in our lives, our caregivers, teachers, police officers, and the list goes on and on. I know a lady who did not like being alone after her husband died. She felt lonely without him. So she sold her house and moved to an apartment building with a social room. There she could make new friends, have coffee together, work on puzzles, or just sit and talk. Spending time together is another way to show our love. And then there's words of affirmation. This means words of praise. Do you like to hear words like, "Good job"? I think everybody does. "You did great. Thank you for your work." It might be a picture you colored or painted or drew. It might be that you helped your mom around the house, or taking care of a younger sister or brother, or doing a school assignment. It feels good to hear words of praise, doesn't it? Since it feels so good to hear words of praise, it also feels good to give words of praise. So remember to say thank you and to praise the people around you every time you get the chance. One of the songs that I wrote has that idea too. It's you I like. It's not the things you wear. It's not the way you do your hair. It's the way you are right now. It's you I like. Every part of you, your skin, your eyes, every part of you. I hope that you remember when you're feeling blue that it's you I like. And then there's gift giving. We've come through a season when we share gifts with each other. Giving gifts can be very meaningful. It doesn't have to be something you buy in a store. It can be something you make, like a picture that you draw or color, or something that you learn to sew, or some other way that you have made something, maybe learning to make things out of wood someday. Giving gifts is a way of showing our love as well. Sometimes people are more worried about whether the person will like their gift or not. But there's also a saying that it's not the gift, but it's the thought behind it that counts. And so don't be afraid to give gifts. And it's also good to receive gifts graciously. Sometimes people are too shy or feel like they don't deserve a gift. But when we receive a gift from someone, we're also blessing them because of the fact that they have the satisfaction of giving. And so it's also good to receive gifts as well as to give them. And then there's physical touch. Touching and being touched are one of the most important things in a person's life. Did you know that babies who are not held and cuddled by someone else are not very healthy? Our skin needs to be touched by another person with skin. There are some things that a robot will never be able to do. When you walk across the street, do your parents make you take their hand? That's because they want to keep you safe. And doesn't it sometimes feel good to keep on holding their hand, even when you're not crossing the street? And doesn't it feel good to get a hug from someone, or to give a hug to someone? A lot of people appreciate getting a hug, but when we get older, we need to ask permission before we hug somebody, and they can say yes or they can say no. And you can say yes or no when someone wants to hug you. Being touched is an important way that we give and receive love. Another song that I wrote about feelings is sometimes people get sad and they feel really bad, but the very same people who get sad sometimes are the very same people who get glad sometimes. I wrote that to show children how emotions can change very quickly. And I'll come back when the day is new, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you want to talk about. I will too. I think the next time I'm on is January 21st.
Thank you, Allan. Now is the time when we ask for your help to do the work of our church through an offering. Half of the cash funds for today will be donated to the Veterans Community Project. We'll say our words to receive the offering. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, and loving one another. Now, this isn't in the order of service, but we have a third song A final song, that's number 131 in the Great Hymnal, Love Will Guide Us. 131.
Just a quick announcement. You might think that there's nothing to discuss in a circle discussion, but I do think the topic of violence on TV is worth discussing today. Mr. Rogers was concerned over 50 years ago, and we've come a long way since then. And so to me, that and the whole role of media in children's lives would make a good discussion. Thank you.
Jeremy, can you come help? And we'll extinguish the chalice. Okay. The chalice is extinguished, but the light goes out into the world.
Good job. be forgot and never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot, and days of auld lang syne, for auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for auld lang syne. And I understand you and Liz did some work yesterday downstairs.
Yes.
How did that go?
Well, I think not done yet, but there's quite a lot of mouse droppings.
Yeah.
We got a lot cleared
Well,
out.
thanks very much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Okay. Morning, Steve.
Morning. Did a good job?
Thank you. How are you?
All right. My son has COVID.
Oh, okay.